How to Build Self-Discipline, Jim Rohn Motivation, Stoicism. We must all suffer one of two things, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Jim Rohn. Welcome to Stoic In Your Life, where we explore the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and how it can transform your life. Today we're diving into one of the most important traits for success, self-discipline. If you've ever struggled to stay focused, push through difficult days, or stick to your goals, this is the message you've been waiting for. Self-discipline is not a talent, it's a skill. It's the foundation of success, the engine behind achieving your dreams, and the secret weapon of every high achiever. In this session, we'll break down the most powerful lessons inspired by Jim Rohn's philosophy and Stoic principles, giving you the tools to develop unshakable discipline, no matter where you are in life. If you're ready to stop making excuses, start unlocking your potential, and become the best version of yourself, then stick with us. Today, we're not just talking about motivation, we're unlocking the mindset and strategies that will help you take full control of your life. Let's get started. Number 1, find your purpose. When a man does not know what harbor he is making for, no wind is the right wind. Seneca. The first and most critical step in building self-discipline is finding your purpose. Without a clear purpose, life feels like a never-ending loop. You wake up, go through the motions, and end the day with little to show for it, hoping tomorrow will somehow be different. But nothing changes because you're lacking direction, a reason to fight through the tough moments or strive for something greater. Purpose is the fuel that drives action and the anchor that keeps you steady when life feels overwhelming. When you know what you're striving for, everything, your goals, actions, and sacrifices, starts to align. As Friedrich Nietzsche famously said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." To uncover your purpose, you must look inward and ask the tough questions. What truly excites me? What makes me want to get out of bed in the morning? What legacy do I want to leave behind? Finding your purpose isn't about chasing fleeting pleasures or societal expectations. It's about identifying what brings you lasting fulfillment and meaning. Think about the Stoic idea of eudaimonia, a life well lived. For the Stoics, this meant living in harmony with reason, virtue, and the natural order of things. Your purpose should reflect your values, align with your strengths, and resonate deeply with who you are. In modern life, it's easy to lose sight of your purpose amidst the distractions of work, technology, and endless obligations. Many men between the ages of 30 and 65 feel trapped in routines, working jobs they tolerate to support families they love, yet silently longing for more. It's not that they lack ambition or potential, it's that they haven't clearly defined their why. Without a purpose, success feels hollow, and failure becomes unbearable. But with purpose, challenges transform into opportunities for growth. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, reminds us, "People who love what they do wear themselves down doing it. They even forget to wash or eat." That's the power of purpose. It gives you the energy and determination to overcome obstacles because you know the end goal is worth the struggle. To find your purpose, start by reflecting on your past experiences. What moments have brought you the most pride or joy? What activities make you lose track of time? These are clues to what truly matters to you. Next, think about your future. What do you want people to say about you when you're gone? This isn't about vanity, but about defining the impact you wish to have on the world. Combine these insights with practical action. Purpose is not discovered in a day. It's uncovered through consistent effort and reflection. Start small. Commit to actions that align with your values and observe how they make you feel. Over time, your purpose will become clearer. It's also essential to silence the noise of external expectations. Many men fall into the trap of living someone else's version of success, whether it's pursuing a career that pleases their parents, chasing material wealth because society glorifies it, or conforming to roles they've outgrown. But a life lived for others is a life half-lived. Epictetus warns us, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Your purpose must come from within, because only then can it sustain you through life's inevitable challenges. Once you've identified your purpose, let it guide every decision you make. Purpose is not a passive feeling, it's an active commitment. It requires you to set meaningful goals and take deliberate action toward achieving them. When you align your daily habits with your purpose, self-discipline becomes easier because you're no longer fighting yourself. Each choice becomes a step closer to the life you truly want to live. This is where the synergy between purpose and discipline becomes clear. Discipline without purpose feels like drudgery, but discipline with purpose feels like progress. In the chaos of modern life, staying focused on your purpose requires intentional effort. Create rituals to remind yourself of your why. This could be as simple as journaling your goals every morning, setting visual reminders in your workspace, or meditating on your values. Surround yourself with people and environments that reinforce your purpose rather than distract from it. Remember, your purpose is not just about achieving external success. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. As the philosopher Viktor Frankl said, "Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose." For men in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond, finding purpose can feel like a daunting task, especially if you've spent years prioritizing others' needs over your own. But it's never too late to redefine your path. Your purpose can evolve as you grow, and that's okay. What matters is that you keep seeking it. Start with small, intentional actions and build momentum. As you move closer to your purpose, you'll find that your self-discipline strengthens naturally because you're no longer chasing empty goals. Instead, you're working toward a vision that excites and fulfills you. Remember that finding your purpose is not just a one-time event, it's a lifelong journey. As you grow and change, so too might your purpose. Embrace this process with patience and curiosity. When you find and commit to your purpose, you unlock a reservoir of strength, focus, and resilience you never knew you had. It's the cornerstone of a disciplined life and the gateway to true success. So take the first step today. Reflect on your why, align your actions with your values, and watch as everything else begins to fall into place. As Seneca so wisely said, "To live is to act." Make your actions count. Number 2, commit to action. The best way to get things done is to simply begin. This simple yet profound truth lies at the heart of building self-discipline. It's easy to dream, plan, and envision the life you want, but without action, none of it matters. Action is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Yet so many of us hesitate to cross it. Why? Because taking action often feels overwhelming, uncertain, or uncomfortable. But let me ask you this. How many dreams have you allowed to wither because you were waiting for the perfect time or the perfect conditions to begin? The truth is, there will never be a perfect moment. If you're sitting on the sidelines of your life, hoping for the right time to act, you're only sabotaging your own success. As Jim Rohn wisely said, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment, and that bridge is built one small step at a time. Take a moment to think about this. How many times have you talked about a goal or idea without ever following through? You might have planned to start a fitness routine, learn a new skill, or pursue a passion project, but instead, the days turned into weeks, and the weeks turned into months. Sound familiar? The gap between talking and doing is where most people falter. In today's world, it's easy to get stuck in endless planning and overthinking. You scroll through videos of others achieving what you desire, feeling inspired yet paralyzed by the fear of failure or the enormity of the task ahead. But here's the thing. Success doesn't come from perfect plans. It comes from imperfect action. No one starts out knowing everything or doing it flawlessly. What sets achievers apart is their willingness to act, even when conditions are less than ideal. Let's take an example from modern life. Think about Elon Musk. Regardless of what you think of him, one thing is undeniable. He is a man of action. When he started Tesla, the idea of electric cars dominating the market seemed far-fetched, almost laughable. There were critics, doubters, and endless challenges. But Musk didn't sit around waiting for universal support or perfect conditions. He acted, took risks, and made progress step by step. The same principle applies to anyone pursuing greatness. Whether you're aiming to get fit, start a business, or simply improve yourself, the critical factor is starting, even when the path ahead looks uncertain. Now ask yourself, what is stopping you from acting on your goals right now? Is it fear? Is it the belief that you're not ready or that the time isn't right? Let me tell you something. You are ready. Readiness doesn't come from waiting. It comes from doing. Every small action builds confidence and momentum, making the next step easier. Start where you are, with what you have, and let the process unfold. Don't wait for motivation to strike. It rarely does. Motivation follows action, not the other way around. Think of the first time you went to the gym or tackled a daunting task. The hardest part was getting started, wasn't it? But once you began, the momentum carried you forward. Action also requires consistency. It's not enough to act once or twice and expect lasting results. Success is built on repeated effort. As Aristotle famously said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. This means showing up every day, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it. It's easy to act when you're excited or inspired, but discipline is about doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. Think about athletes preparing for a major competition. They train in the rain, in the cold, and when they're tired, because they know that consistent effort is the price of greatness. To help you commit to action, let me share a relatable story. A friend of mine once set out to write a book. For years, he talked about it, researched the topic, and even outlined the chapters. But the manuscript never got written. One day, he decided to set a simple goal: write 200 words every morning before checking his phone or starting his day. It seemed small, almost trivial. But over time, those 200 words added up, and within 6 months, he had completed his first draft. His success wasn't because of a grand plan or a sudden burst of inspiration. It was the result of consistent small actions. So, what lesson can you take from this? First, start now. Stop waiting for the stars to align or for motivation to magically appear. Pick one thing you can do today to move closer to your goal, no matter how small it seems. Second, embrace imperfection. Your first steps might be clumsy, and that's okay. Progress is messy, but it's better than staying stuck. Third, commit to showing up daily. Even if you can only give 5 minutes to your goal, those minutes compound over time. As we wrap up this discussion on committing to action, remember this: the difference between success and failure is what you do today. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. You have the power to change your life one step at a time, but only if you're willing to act. So what's your next move? Will you let fear and hesitation keep you on the sidelines, or will you take that first bold step forward? The choice is yours, and the time is now. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, as Lao Tzu reminds us. Take that step today and watch how far it will carry you. Number 3, be consistent. Success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out. Robert Collier. Let's talk about one of the most overlooked but essential keys to self-discipline: consistency. Without it, even the best intentions and plans fall apart. If you're someone who finds yourself starting strong but losing steam after a few days or weeks, this message is for you. Consistency is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. It's not about having a single extraordinary day of effort, but about showing up every single day, no matter how you feel. Let me ask you this. How many times have you started something only to abandon it halfway? A fitness routine, a personal project, a new skill? The excitement at the beginning is easy, but it's the daily grind, the boring, unglamorous repetition that truly tests your commitment. What if, instead of focusing on massive leaps, you focused on taking steady, manageable steps forward every single day? That's the power of consistency, and it's within your reach. Think about how this applies to every area of life. Take a top athlete, for instance. They don't train only when they feel like it. They don't skip practice just because it's raining or because they're tired. They show up day after day, putting in the work, even when the results aren't immediate. Consistency is what builds their strength, endurance, and skill over time. The same principle applies to you, whether your goal is to get healthier, improve your career, or develop a new habit. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be consistent. What would happen if you committed to even one small action every day toward your goals? Over time, those actions would add up, creating momentum and turning effort into success. As Aristotle said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Let's bring this closer to home. Imagine you're learning to play the guitar. If you practice sporadically, 1 hour today, nothing for a week, then 3 hours the next, you won't see much progress. But if you practice just 20 minutes every single day, those 20 minutes compound over time. You build muscle memory, gain confidence, and eventually master the instrument. Consistency creates results not because you're doing anything extraordinary, but because you're doing something consistently. Now think about your own goals. What small, consistent actions could you take to move closer to where you want to be? It could be writing 200 words a day, doing a 15-minute workout, or even saving a little money each week. What's stopping you from starting today? The challenge with consistency is that it often feels slow and unexciting. We live in a world that values instant gratification, quick fixes, overnight success, and immediate results. But real success is rarely instant. It's built over time through persistence and dedication. If you're not seeing progress right away, that doesn't mean you're failing, it means you're building the foundation. Consider the metaphor of planting a seed. When you first plant it, nothing happens. Days, weeks, even months may pass without visible growth. But beneath the surface, roots are forming, and with consistent care, watering, sunlight, and patience, that seed eventually grows into a strong, thriving tree. Your goals are like that seed. They need consistent effort, even when you can't yet see the results. Can you commit to nurturing your goals with the same patience and persistence? One reason people struggle with consistency is because they rely too much on motivation. Here's the hard truth. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes, and if you depend on it to take action, you'll never achieve anything lasting. The secret is to build habits that keep you going even when you're not motivated. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, explains this well. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. This means setting up routines and systems that make consistency easier. If you want to exercise regularly, lay out your workout clothes the night before. If you want to write every day, block off time in your calendar and eliminate distractions. How can you set yourself up for success so that showing up becomes automatic? Another key to consistency is having a clear why. Why are you pursuing this goal in the first place? When the initial